Jack London loved writing dog stories almost as much as Goodtimes loved distributing cheap cartoon adaptations of them.
But alas, it's different now. Times are full of strife. I must say I'm not used to this. Living a dog's life.
You know, I've seen other releases of things that combine the Call of the Wild and White Fang, but I don't see those two getting combined with the adventures of young Moby Dick quite as often for some reason. White Fang and Call of the Wild are pretty close in some aspects, though White Fang was what London described as being the opposite of Call of the Wild. Where in White Fang the wolf-dog hybrid starts wild and gets more tamed, Call of the Wild starts with a tame dog who grows much more wild through the story. Which had its critics back in the day, as they said London gave Buck the dog so many human traits that some called him a nature faker as he gave unnatural feelings to a dog. Stupid 1900s. This is another one of the Bly Migakovsky Phoenix Animation Goodtimes releases, which means it has that storybook opening and scene transitions sometimes. Those make a little more sense here than they did in An Angel for Christmas, as Call of the Wild is actually a book. Though what we see in this cartoon is very loosely based on that book.
In the year 1897, on the country estate of Judge Miller, one dog named Buck reigned supreme.
Buckfutter!
Old Buck here doesn't really resemble the crappy cover art in the slightest, which seems to make him a husky like the rest of the sled dogs. And I'm pretty sure they are looking at this cover for the Call of the Wild when they drew this garbage. What are we laughing at? They really front-load this movie, as Buck gives his most intelligent line spoken right at the beginning. I don't know about that, Buck. I think barking is supposed to sound a little more like this. Buck goes in for his ridiculous feast of mounds of licorice and salad? You know, a part of any good dog's diet. Though Buck needs to learn his dining manners and not stand on his dessert, which I guess the dog is supposed to take the lid off of. If you pay attention, you'll notice that in this movie a lot of shots will freeze frame before moving on, as you'll see the grain in the picture stop. They had to do this because it was really important to pad this thing out to 45 minutes, I guess.
Sorry, Your Honor. One of the dogs was begging for scraps, and
Davis, I won't have a liar in my house.
Ooh, another evil butler who hates his owner's pets. No wonder he's gonna have to get rid of Buck. Otherwise, he won't get Judge Asshat's inheritance.
This time you'll pay for the damage.
Just try and make me. Oh, sorry, Judge. I'll pay.
So he was gonna defy his boss until the dog growled at him?
Ah, you're a good dog, Buck. You'd be worth your weight in gold to anyone crazy enough to venture into the Klondike.
Wow, way to give your evil staff ideas, Judge. You'd almost think he wanted to get rid of the dog.
Though content with his life on the estate, every evening Buck's heart was filled with a yearning to run free in the wilderness.
Well, I guess getting stolen from his owner is really gonna be a good thing for Buck then. But wait, why didn't the evil butler steal one of the sidekick dogs or strangely colored cats to go pull sleds for the Klondike Gold Rush? Angel Wolf? Is that you? The beginning here with Buck getting stolen from Judge Miller is probably one of the most accurate parts this cartoon depicts, even if the underground dog money seems a bit silly.
You told me $150. There's only 100 here.
Well, playing the inflation game again, in 1897, getting $100 for Buck was close to like $3,000 today, so I'd say that was a pretty good payday.
If you're unhappy, take the dog back.
Okay, I'll keep the dog and the money. Wow, I'm an idiot. Anyway, Mr. Strange Stubble, I guess, is this cartoon's depiction of the man in the red sweater from the book. He's got a red jacket, so that's close enough.
Hey, where am I?
Well, looky here. Sleeping Beauty just woke up.
It's me, Jack Nicholson, the Green Dog.
It wasn't that funny.
What happened?
You've been stolen from your master, like the rest of us.
Purple dogs like me make the best sled dogs. Guess that stupid butler really messed up on which of the judge's dogs to steal for this.
It's time for you to go to school. Your first lesson is to learn who the master is.
Glad they kept Buck getting beaten with a club in this cartoon. Now release your inner dingo and rotate Buck off a cliff.
Buck and the other dogs were in the clutches of the mean-spirited Burton,
What the hell?
who was taking them to the Klondike.
Canada be damned. I'm going to the Klondike.
So Buck and some kid he loves at first sight all take off to the great white north to get all rich from the gold rush.
When we next see this coast again, we'll have gold enough for your sister's operation.
The father-son team going to find Operation Gold is completely invented for this cartoon, as having a stupid kid involved in the plot is super important. But they did name this kid John Thornton, which is the name of a character who owned Buck at one point in the book. But this kid has none of the same story besides being someone that Buck doesn't hate.
Mom didn't want me to come with you, did she?
It was the only way.
She didn't want her little kid running off to a gold rush with only his dying wiener father? I can't imagine why.
In my condition, I'd never make it alone.
Oh crap, I've got the dying cough too. I should have brought a little kid with me to ensure that I finish this review.
Did you see that dog today? I'd give anything to own him.
Awkward.
Here, I brought something for you.
Drop it. Food will only make this animal soft.
True, if you don't feed dogs, it makes them real strong. Later at the dog auction, Stubbly Burton is selling his not really fit for sled dogs merch until he gets to the main attraction, fudder.
A full-bred German Shepherd.
Buck was originally a St. Bernard Scotch Shepherd mix, but I'm guessing they changed him to a German Shepherd so that they could draw him more like their wolves, just colored brown.
200!
At what was around $5,500 at the time, you're gonna need to find gold just to pay off your dog debts. Dying Daddy tries to bid on Buck, but gets outbid by Weed and Ska. Not really, he's just stupid Samuel, who is no one real. He pays $300 and dropping the equivalent of what would be $8,000 today for another mail delivery dog sure is worth it.
With this money, I have enough to stake a proper claim and strike it rich.
Gold, gold, you have to scratch the itch.
No, absolutely not.
Klondike gold gets under your skin.
Why didn't I shoot him? Damn.
Does this dog have a name?
They call him Buck.
Futter!
John had lost his chance to be with Buck. In his heart, he doubted he would ever see his friend again.
Yeah, that dog he saw a couple of times was his best friend.
Nice name. They call me Wolf because I've never been in one place long enough to be named anything else.
Wow, Woof. That's a name good enough for the White Fang story. Buck's buddy Woof is another invented character who seems a little close to Curly from the book. Curly was a dog who Buck befriended and then got murdered by the evil sled dog Spitz. Buck then beat Spitz in a sled dog battle and was killed by the rest of the team for being a loser. None of that happens in this cartoon, funny enough, though we are gonna have some death. Yeah, Dying Daddy and Brat wandering around the Yukon looking for gold on foot. That sure seems like they'd make it.
All we gotta do is walk over there, wag our tails playfully, and they won't be able to resist inviting us in for the night.
You sure this will work?
Glad they have that comic relief dog. That was such an inspired addition. Suddenly, a couple of musician dogs appear in a blue void singing about how everybody wants to be a dog or something.
I'm not having fun at all. Living a dog's life.
These two blue void repeat animation dogs sure are getting a lot of different instrument sounds out of the two things that they're playing.
Used to be I always got a bath 2 times a week and grooming several times a day to keep me at my peak.
I don't care.
Oh, you call this living?
Where are you going?
There's rumors of a shortcut through these mountains. We've got to find it.
He took his son out here to murder him, didn't he? The mail gets delivered to the pink-suited Mountie, because I guess that's how the mail worked in the Yukon.
How about a bonus? I have a better offer.
Pack those pistols in your saddlebags or get back to U.S. territory.
What in the shooting?
Return to Skagway immediately, and I'll triple your rate. You've got a deal.
Wait, the dogs are tired.
You're too concerned about those dumb animals.
Do you want a chance losing some on the trail and crossing the rest of the way on foot?
We could only make it on foot if we were dying of a cough and traveling with a small child. Anyway, the untrustworthy guy proves to be untrustworthy. Especially when you leave a giant sack of money on a table and then turn your back. Truly a shocking turn of events, though not as shocking a turn as Pink Mountie's instant 0 frames of animation turn here. And thus the father-son duo died, and Buck never saw them again because they weren't really a part of his story to begin with. Oh, I'm just joking. No one would ever die here.
Father, are you all right?
I'm hurt badly, son.
It is to you I shall pass the matrix of leadership.
No!
And he died. Yes, really.
Father?
He has gone, and because you have a good heart and respect the land, you will be protected.
What? Does the little brat hold some native culture's beliefs or something? We have not established anything like that. But good to know he respects the land that he's such an idiot on, and I guess that's the only reason he won't wind up dead too. Guess old dumb daddy really disrespected the land, and that's why the combo of a cliff and a cough killed him.
How do I find my way?
Follow your heart, John.
Follow your heart, follow your heart.
Ah, that's why I haven't been finding any gold. I haven't been following my heart. I wish a native symbol-y thing appeared to tell me that.
After the loss of his father, John's encounter with the spirit Malteca eased his grief.
Yeah, of course. I mean, who even cares about daddy death after a floating symbol gives some vague advice?
The greedy Wallace had driven his sled team too hard.
Stupid dogs! I'll teach you to obey.
If I beat you all with a club, it'll make you go faster. We then have this cartoon's version of the encounter between Buck and Spitz, which ends in an ultra lame-ality as Spitz is finished with 1 pounce.
We'll all be hornswoggled.
Me too. Totally all hornswoggled up in here.
So that's the way it's gonna be, is it?
Leave him alone!
Oh no, a small child! This dope actually manages to get taken down by Johners, but requires the Buck Pounce to be completely lame-alitied, and then is drug off to his death by the rest of the sled dogs, who I guess Buck and Wolf don't care about.
Buck, oh Buck! It's so good to see you again! Who's this?
It's the dog added so that you get to keep one at the end.
Not only had John reunited with his beloved Buck.
Whoa! Back off the dog, dude! Anyway, John heads off to the saloon because his dad is dead and isn't around to stop his drinking problem anymore. Wow, that's some truly spectacular piano playing there. This saloon appears to be operated by a man who has forgotten to shave his teeth in quite a while. And speaking of nonsense facial hair, Red Burton shows up again to show that he's forgotten to shave under his eyes. Also to cause some super serial buck tension.
The dog's mad. He must be put down.
If the dog can demonstrate he's more than just a simple beast of burden, he should be spared.
Samuel's right. That's the law.
I'm pretty sure it's not.
I know this dog, and I say he can pull 1,000 pounds.
Well, if he could do that, he's got free reign to kill everyone.
Would you like to wager on that?
How does $400 sound?
Make it 600.
Inflation makes that about a $16,000 bet on a dog's strength. You held this past the point of awkwardness, dude. Buck goes Super Saiyan, making the snow turn yellow, and his super strength proves he's allowed to live, 'cause that makes sense.
I knew you had it in you all along. Except for one moment, of course, when...
No.
Sorry to hear about your father.
Oh, really? 'Cause I'm not. I'm so over that. Well, you did see a bird symbol in the sky, so it's kind of hard to care about a loved one's death after that. I know, right? Anyway, Samuel decides to give up his dangerous male game and go gold hunting with John. Because why wouldn't he want to quit his job and drop everything to go out into the wilderness with a little boy? Not awkward in the slightest.
As equal partners.
Partners.
Uh-huh. I'm not distracted by that ogre in the background at all.
What's going on? Dessert?
What's going on? Non-jokes?
You two off somewhere?
We're going to seek our fortune tomorrow.
I've made a huge mistake.
I guess losing that bet put a crimp in your plans to stake a claim. I'm flat broke. The boy and his dog took off with Samuels today to strike it rich.
Well, if I know where they're going, I guess I do have money to go gold hunting. Makes sense if you don't think about it.
Wow, she's beautiful.
And so well introduced.
She's savage.
I mean, look at that freeze frame. Totally savage. Man in the Burton sweater drops an instant avalanche boulder on Team Moron, which luckily affects him none. Also, his plan wasn't even to follow them to the gold, because why try to make any sense?
John? John! Where are you?
He has gone.
Well, I would be upset, but you've really calmed me down. The dogs dig up the Johnsicle, and unfortunately, he's still alive.
Buck had found John just in time, but John was wet.
Meaning he's completely yours! You know what? Never mind. It's not worth it.
It was man-made.
How do you know?
The man left these.
Burton.
Of course. I'd know Burton gloves anywhere.
Tomorrow we'll continue our journey and hope we can beat him to the river.
What? Buck then runs off to chase some Wolftail, who still hasn't said a word because she's not a real character. But more importantly, we learn that the Yukon has a lot of pink pine trees. I wonder if I can get ruby chocolate from those trees.
I'll race with the wind.
But not with any enthusiasm.
So, you, wanna tell me what happened?
Get a life, Wolf.
Cool, I'm glad Wolf is also a perv. Really is the best character, this guy. Also, Buck and Wolf aren't helping the sled team because we just flat out hate sense at this point. So, apparently a branch that someone was impaled on points towards the gold pile, which is just sitting on top of a bunch of yellow snow. You know, I don't think this cartoon knows how digging or panning for gold works.
Where'd Buck go?
Something is calling to Buck.
You might say it's the wild.
I didn't know if I'd ever see you again.
Stay away from her.
Yeah, let's throw in the wolf fight. I bet this will be epic. Ended after 1 pounce? What? Anyway, female wolf loves that, apparently. Not enough to say anything, though.
And in that moment, Buck became a creature of the wild.
Yeah, screw it being a gradual thing. It should just be a switch that gets flipped.
There's gold everywhere.
Even sitting on top of the ice. Screw logic.
Sarah can have her operation, and Mother, well, she can have anything she wants.
Well, except for her husband coming home alive.
Don't move.
Now it's time for Wolf to finally be heroic. Just kidding, he's gonna go get the real hero.
Why so sad, Buck?
Holy crap, she knows how to talk? Anyway, the final battle with Burton is gonna be a huge encounter. It's gonna be 1 pounce, isn't it?
Okay, I give up.
What in the shooting?
Oh, you're the best. I'll never let you go.
Maybe the time has come to let Buck go.
You're free now.
Truly emotional. It's okay though, John's got a backup dog.
I guess it's time to gather up the gold, but we take only what we need, right?
Right.
We're idiots.
Upon getting back home in the same boat, all the same people are standing on the pier waving. Apparently they all just stood there waving this entire time.
It's John!
Your dad would be proud.
Who?
Will you stay in Seattle?
You can be replacement dad, better than that loser ever was.
All ended well for John Thornton.
But not in the book because he was murdered. And then Buck killed his murderers. What a fun children's story.
And Samuels became part of his family.
Yup, he really did get Samuel to replace old loser dead daddy. No one cares about him anymore. Nor did they ever. And Buck freeze-framed some kids with the wolf who had 2 lines. Truly a happy, happy story, that Call of the Wild. Really though, I think it's much easier to spin White Fang into a more happy story than Call of the Wild due to the reverse story path. Neither are all that cheerful, of course, but Call of the Wild is about the dog being treated so miserably that he's running wild by the end of it. Gotta love that this cartoon gets rid of so much of the death from this story, but then added a character who dies. But apparently that's okay if you make John barely give a shit about his dad dying and immediately seek out to replace him.
Actually, Phelous, this was a really good movie. Now follow your heart to gold.
Well, I was upset, but I guess I can't argue with that. Time to get me some gold! Ha ha! Aw, this is pyrite.
I don't like this movie. It doesn't seem too friendly. These monsters seem so fake. My nerves, they're gonna break. Please don't let me down. You need to be around to grab that running one up and blast that scene a new one.
So, you, wanna tell me what happened?
Get a life, Wolf.
Buck Futter!